laws and okay, people, you seen my video on violating the oath. The laws I post on legal reform are basically set to help people like this. This woman's having a problem with child custody. I'm the mother of 3 beautiful children. Since 2022, my life and my children's life have been destroyed by a corrupt system. They kidnapped my children without cause and have kept them away from me for 3 years. This is pretty average. Okay, in 2022, I was living with a shelter with my 3 children. After discussion with the shelter caseworker, I was injured. An ambulance took me to the hospital. My children remained in the shelter. When I returned from the hospital, ICS wrongfully took my children without proper investigation. They'll do that. Without justice, they'll do that. And without reason, and they will do that. Okay, the foster care system have mentally tortured my children, which when I was growing up, I ran across a lot of kids that were in the foster care system. Never a good outcome. They're not protecting our children. They're using our children for money, applying for SSI benefits, collecting child support, and destroying families for profit. Okay, people. She's in New York, and I'm in Illinois. And what she didn't, I talked to you about due process, so that's what didn't happen here, due process. She didn't have a fair trial because she didn't have effective assistance counsel. Young lady, effective assistance of counsel is described in the rules of professional conduct. You may not be able to use every rule, but every rule that applies in that court was violated, and those rules are law. Even the preamble, everything in the preamble is law. Okay? So nobody did that. That's ineffective assistance of counsel. The opposing party was supposed to legally report your attorney for ineffective assistance of counsel. The judge is legally supposed to report your attorney for ineffective assistance of counsel. Reporting misconduct is mandatory in both the rules of professional conduct and the code of judicial conduct. Failure to report misconduct is misconduct, and that's violating the oath. So there's many charges you can bring them up on, but you'll have to review the code of judicial conduct and the rules of professional conduct. Now, it's easy to find, young lady, since you're in New York. Just Google the rules of professional conduct and then Google the rules of professional conduct complaint form. It's on the internet. You'll find it. It's rather easy. Google the code of judicial conduct and the code of judicial conduct complaint form. Okay, so when you're going to cite the judge for judicial misconduct, for failure to report your attorney for ineffective assistance of counsel, and then you're going to list all the rules that your attorney violated. Communication, I can guarantee you they didn't communicate. That's a rule. That's a law. They must communicate with you. Diligence, they must be diligent. Expediting litigation, that's mandatory. That's the law. So failure to expedite litigation is a failure at diligence, which is a failure at competence. Competence is required. It's a law. So failure to expedite litigation, a failure to be diligent, it's just it's a consistency. It goes on. The judge is supposed to report your attorney to the proper authorities for failure to abide by the rules of professional conduct, as well as the opposing party, and your lawyer is supposed to report them for failing to report him. It's mandatory for everybody to report anybody that violates the rules or the codes, including themselves. They are legally required to report themselves for violating the rules of professional conduct. Okay, young lady, so there's a lot of things you really need to know. I helped the young lady, but she didn't want to learn the rules and the codes, got mad at me when I was trying to get her to read them and understand them. And why do I gotta do this or know this if they know that's their job? See, well, they know you don't know what their job is, their legal obligations to you, legal obligations to the public in general, which are described in the Rules of Professional Conduct and the Code of Judicial Conduct. They are all required to do what's in the public interest and maintain the public trust, which the legal system is part of public trust. So says the public trust doctrine. Okay. So everything that was done to you was illegal. So there's so many posts I got that can help you maneuver through this. Okay, and I have a friend. I'm going to talk to him. He knows the intricacies of the child custody court. I am familiar with the laws of all courts and how to get you back in court, but he knows the specifics. He actually got the money back from the guardian ad litem. He's soon to be getting the money back from the attorneys that were supposedly working for him. It wasn't until he read the Rules of Professional Conduct that he found out they were working against him. And the judge and the opposing party offered him the gift. In the very beginning, they told him, if you don't take this, we're going to make life harder on you, and they did. They're keeping his child from him. A devoted father, very devoted father. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. When parenting is hard, and he's a very good parent. This young lady sounds like a very good parent, fighting 3 years. I met a lot of people that they get their kids taken away, they walk away. I won't even help them. But people like this, I feel their pain. It hurts. And that's one of the reasons why I do what I do. I don't know this woman. But young lady, if you like, you can reach out to me. I'll talk you through it, walk you through it, and give you what laws you need to use. Okay. But first you'll have to go over the Rules of Professional Conduct, the Code of Judicial Conduct. Remember to use the letter of the law. Okay, letter of the law clearly states it's a mandate in interpreting the law that anything written must be done word for word to the letter. Spirit of the law requires that justice be served. So in the interest of justice, let's do this, okay? There's so many laws that are broken in every court of law, not just child custody, civil court, criminal court. I've helped people through different courts, even federal court. Grandma, her grandson was in federal court for something, and I threw a whole bunch of laws at her. I don't know what happened. She did contact me later and offered a donation. I do not accept donations, nor do I ask. This is a non-profit. Actually, it keeps me broke. I don't mind. When I took the Pledge of Allegiance for the first time, not for the first time, but I heard a speech by a man, his name is Martin Luther King. He said, I have a dream that one day our nation will live up to its creed. And our creed is that every man is created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Amongst these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and she's being denied that. So, young lady, if you want to contact me, you can hit me through Messenger. We can speak. I've spent hours, days with people. You'll have to understand that you can quite easily understand the laws I'm giving you only if you read them. You don't have to be a lawyer to understand the laws that I'm going to give you because they're all in layman's terms. It's just that when you talk to lawyers and judges, they tend to complicate things, mislead you, misguide you, give you disinformation, which is totally illegal, and you'll find that if you read the rules of professional conduct in the Code of Judicial Conduct. In the preamble, it says honesty, integrity, you know, failure to, be honest. There's a lack of ethics. Violating the rules in the codes is not only violating the oath, but those are ethics violations as well. Okay, but I feel for this young lady. I feel for so many of you out there that have had your children taken away. The young lady that came to me about her children, she didn't want to learn the law. She actually wanted me to speak up for her. But if I had, I probably would have been dragged into court under contempt. And the last time the judge had me in custody, I had the life beat out of me and left for dead. So I couldn't do it. Otherwise I wouldn't be making this video right now, or any of the other videos. But if you don't know the law, nobody's going to abide by the law in a court of law. Okay, so that's all I'm doing, is giving you a whole lot of laws that nobody's speaking of, yet alone enforcing. Okay, that's what legal reform is about. You don't have a shot because you don't have a law degree. All right, that's the only way you'll get effective assistance of counsel, is to know all these laws. That's the only way you'll get a fair trial. That's the only way you'll get due process. And remember, you had a right to a quick and speedy trial. The internet says, well, that's only in criminal cases, but if you go over the rules of professional conduct, diligence in expediting litigation would be competent. Failure to do so would be incompetent. And it's necessary they communicate that to you. And remember, nothing can proceed in a court of law unless you have reason, or unless you give informed consent. In order to give informed consent, you must have reasonable information to make an informed decision. And how can you do that if you don't know the law? I'm sick and tired of the courts putting you up against legal seasoned professionals, highly educated, and you lack the knowledge. You lack the reasonable knowledge to make an informed decision, to give informed consent. I did a video on that, and that's a requirement before anything can proceed in a court of law. And that didn't happen, young lady. I'm not yelling at you. I am just totally pissed. I found the rules of professional conduct back in '79. Been preaching about it since. The rules, the codes, the Constitution. I've been at it a long time, and it really hurts seeing so many of you go through this. And it doesn't matter what state you're in, red, blue, it doesn't matter. This is an apolitical thing. All right, this isn't about politics. This is about the law in a land of laws, in a nation where it is said that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. Amongst these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and you've been denied. We've been denied. We've been denied since the Constitution was written. When the Constitution was written, it said everybody had a right to vote, but only the rich landowners, rich white landowners, had the right to vote. Men, only men. There's so many contradictions in the law, and I want to help you get through it. I've been doing this for a very long time. And some people ask me how I remembered all this stuff. Sometimes you read something you can't forget. And I'll be honest with you, First time I read the rules of professional conduct was in early May of 1979. And I started using law. I got out of prison. If I hadn't been learning before I went to prison, I wouldn't have got out as quick as I did. And a lot of people were shocked. I got out in 2 years and 10 months when the minimum I should have served was 10 years. But I challenged the double jeopardy clause simply because they charged me with multiple crimes. The police offered me, hey, you signed this and, you'll just go to prison for a short time. Said no, so they added another charge. They said if I didn't sign that, then they'll double up. So it went from 1 to 2 charges to 4 charges. The state's attorney came in, offered me a plea. I didn't accept the plea. She told me I should have took the gift that they were offering because things are going to get worse now. The judge doesn't like it that I did not accept the plea deal. So I'm looking at the public defender, the state's attorney, and they're telling me what the judge wants and what the judge doesn't want, and all it came out to was the judge was pissed that I bothered to show up in court. You should have just took what we were throwing at you in the beginning, because now I got to sit here in the court and look at you and listen to you. They really don't like doing their job. In every court I've been in to help people, they don't like me bringing their job description with me. The rules of professional conduct and the code of judicial conduct. But you know what? Every time I do, they cave, they capitulate. Because what they're doing is breaking the law. That's all you got to understand, people. Okay, I mean, that's not all. There's a whole lot you got to understand, and that's why I created legal reform, to teach you what you need to know. When it comes to legal community, they consider everything the law on a need-to-know basis, and they feel you don't need to know, and I think you need to know. Like they say about about guns, it's better to have one and not need one than to need one and not have one. Same thing goes with the law. It's better to know it and not need it than to need it and not know it, and that's where you are right now. I'm just pointing out a whole lot of laws. I could go on for hours, days, weeks, about what needs to change. And the only real change we need is start holding everybody up to the oath and the legal requirements of their jobs. You go to the DOJ website, it tells you exactly what their job description is. They don't work for the president. They work for we the people. They took an oath to us. FBI, judges, lawyers, politicians. These are legal binding contracts. These are unbreakable, but they break them, bend them. And the only way you're going to stop them is to learn the law. And I post a lot of them up there for you on legal reform. I also put it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever I can. Takes time, money, but that's on me. That's not on you. I ain't asking you for nothing but your time. When I took the Pledge of Allegiance, I took an oath to we the people. I did not pledge of allegiance to the government. I did not pledge allegiance to a politician. I did not pledge allegiance to a political party. And I definitely didn't pledge allegiance to Wall Street and its entities from around the world. Wall Street has no dedication, no love, no respect for we the people. If they had, you wouldn't be living the way you are. Things got to change, people, and I'm giving you a whole bunch of laws to do it. Look me up, legal reform. It's been a pleasure and an honor to serve who the Constitution was dedicated to. We the people, my people, all of y'all. Nothing but love and respect for you. May your Creator rain many blessings, long life, and good health.